What's good, everybody? Welcome back. Appreciate everybody who's watching this podcast. Appreciate the support. When I hang out with my buddies, like we did this past what was it, Tuesday? They were saying, "Hey, man, Gil, I see you. I'm watching you." So shout out to everybody who's watching. Really appreciate that, and definitely tell others about the podcast. Tell them to like and subscribe and just check me out. Just hear me out. You when people are on YouTube, you go and you watch all these famous people, right? You just make them richer and richer. You know what I'm saying? Watch your boy. Watch your boy. You know what I mean? But anyway, I do appreciate the support. I really wanted to talk about this. It's been on my mind for a while because I saw the commercial with Chase. Now I love Chase. Chase is, I bank with them. I have stock in them. Great company. I never had no problems with them. But they had this commercial out where the kid is selling lemonade. He's going in there trying to open up his first account, and they sell lemonade, cutting grass, and there's a kid cutting hair. He's a barber. He's not a barber. He wants to be a barber. You know what? I get it. I get the hustle, and it's cool. You can sit there and say, "Oh, I could start a business being a barber," but it's not that easy. Okay, you know what I mean? They made it seem like, oh, anybody can just cut hair, and start being a barber. And it's cool. I love it. I love the it puts us out there. It say, hey man, barbers. It's a very respectable occupation. I've said this occupation, and I've said this before. Barbers are one of the oldest professions. One of the oldest professions that's out there. Barbers used to pull teeth. Barbers used to bloodlet. Barbers were like, we did a lot before we actually came together and separated from all that, and dentists went that way, and doctors and all that shit. But barbers were doing a lot of stuff back way back in the day, the Roman periods and all that good stuff. So, but anyway, let me get back to what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Chase Bank thing. Okay, so I get it. I love it. You know what I mean? Hey, hustle, make your money, blah, blah, blah. But I want to park the brakes right there. Hit the brakes. Okay? Because there's a lot of, and I see it on social media when, you get all those barber reels and they're funny as hell. But a lot of comments are like, oh, yeah, man, because they're saying that we charge a lot. It's not like it used to be, you know what I mean? $10 for a haircut. You go to Rio's or Supercuts or whatever, and it's like $8. Okay, hey, if that's the kind of haircut you want, fine, go get you an $8 haircut. But I'm going off topic because this is on my mind really. So anyway, when I go on Instagram or anywhere with barber deals, and they're always like, oh yeah, you know what, like I'm not gonna pay that much money. Some of the barbers can't even cut. And I go to my homeboy who cuts way better. They should just, why do you have to go to school? Well, let me hit you up on game. So yeah, anybody can cut hair. I mean, you get some clippers and you go and you cut your friend's hair, right? And then you go and cut the next person's hair, and you go cut the next person's hair. But see, barbering it's more than just cutting hair. You have to protect the public, okay? Because there are things out there that get into your hair: ringworm, scabies. You get staph infections. All that stuff is in your hair. Pimples, cuts, sores. If you're going to some guy who's never been to barber school and he cuts really good, it's dangerous. It really is dangerous. You actually need to, go get your hair cut by a professional, okay? Because there's so many diseases that you can transfer to other people. Ringworm. If somebody has ringworm and you go to a barber who doesn't know anything and then gets the same clippers and cuts your head, it's bad for you, okay? You have so many infectious diseases there, and that you go to school to learn. Okay, when I was going to school, it was 1,500 hours. At 1,500 hours, that's more than police officers go to school for. Okay, and you're right. You know what? When I was there at the barber shop that I went to, they didn't teach us how to cut hair because it's not what it's about. You have to, like I said before, you have to protect the public. So that's the most important thing. So you learn what how long barbers been barbering, what from to now to all the diseases that you can get that you can transfer to somebody else. So if you're going to your homeboy in the fucking garage and he's not licensed, be careful. Be careful. I mean, he does. I check to see if he's got cool care. Check to see if he has great hospital grade disinfectant. Because you can if you have clippers and when you cut somebody that had a pimple and it bleeding, and he doesn't clean his tools right and goes and cuts somebody else's hair and you got to cut, guess what? You already know. So understand that they might be good with the clippers. They might, oh man, my homeboy's so good. He's a barber. Blah, blah, blah. He's not a barber, first off, because you need to go to school and get that diploma, that plaque. You know what I'm saying? That plaque saying that you put in the work to become a barber. Okay? You didn't put in work just because you went and saw a couple of videos and you started cutting hair. No, you're not a barber. You're not. You got to go to school, put in the work, prove to people that you can actually do something and follow through it and graduate. Then take your test and then go be a barber. And then you can sit there and say, I'm a barber. So I really, 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 if you guys are out there and you got a homeboy who's cutting hair and he's not licensed, don't do that. Don't give him the money. It's your homeboy, I get it, but does he understand his responsibility as a barber? So that's just something to me that it's like, oh man, in the comments, and they're like, oh man, some barbers can't even cut hair. I gotta go to this other guy who's not even a barber. They should just let people be barbers whenever they want to. No. No. Because it's not just about the haircut. It's about what everybody's scalp is different. You know what I mean? And what do you do if somebody has a ringworm? You still gonna cut them? You know what I mean? What happens when somebody has a pimple and you pop because you're cutting hair? Oh shit, you had a pimple. You're bleeding. What do? You have a razor. You're raising them up. You cut them. What do? You did not go to school to understand what you need to do. What's the process that you need to take after that? Because I guarantee you, it's not good. All I'm saying is, if you think you're out there cutting hair and you haven't been to school, you're not a barber. Don't even call yourself a barber. You know what I mean? You can't call yourself a barber. Okay? You're not even a stylist. So if you're out there cutting hair without a license, go to school. Go to school. Get your license, and then you can say you're a barber. That's all on that subject. I just tell you that being a barber is very professional. It's a lot of fun. You have your free time. You have the times where you're busy. You can control when and what you work. Barbers it's great. It's a great thing to do. You know what I mean? You know how much you need to make for all your bills to be paid, and then you have whatever else you make extra, whatever. You know what I mean? And guess what? You're a barber. You will never be broke. Think about that. Think about it. If the world were just die, if the world would just and everybody, there's nothing, right? Whatever happens to the world, and all of a sudden, if you have to build up everything, guess what? You got to trade. You know what I mean? You have a trade. There's something that everybody's gonna need. A haircut. No, you don't want to walk around with long hair as a man. You know what I mean? And you can walk around with long hair as a man. I'm not saying you can't, but if you don't and you want your hair cut, guess what, man? There's gonna be a barber somewhere. So it's a trade. You know what I mean? Just like being an electrician, a doctor, a nurse, all those plumbers, all those things right there are traits that you'll never be out of a job. That's all I'm saying. But go to school, get your license, and then cut hair, because you're going to transfer a lot of you could transfer a lot of diseases to other people. So go get your license if you're cutting hair. And I know that one time they were saying that they were going to just say, hey, anybody could be a barber, but they didn't pass that in Texas, so that was good. I had something else in mind, but so that's all I had to say about this video. I'm gonna come back in a few hours. I gotta go run an errand real quick, but I'm gonna be back and I'm gonna talk about another topic, and y'all know what that topic is gonna be about. So I'm done. Be distinguished, stay distinguished, learn something, don't get in trouble. All right, y'all. Later.